Hello, friends. How are you? How's things? How's life? How's the world where you are right now? Where I am, we're still in this heat wave. It's over 90 today. Whatever we decided that was yesterday, like 30 something. It's 90. It's currently 91 degrees, which is a lot. It says it feels like 100. The humidity is up today. It's supposed to have We're supposed to have thunderstorms today. That's always the worst. Yesterday, I was walking and it reminded me West Virginia summers are always hot and humid. When I say hot, 90s is actually unseasonably hot for us. It's usually 80s, like upper 80s though. It's like 88, 87, somewhere around there. But it's also usually like 70 to 90% humidity. It gets really humid here and hot. And that's the absolute worst. Yesterday I was walking and I think it was like 95, but it was like 40% humidity or 45% humidity, which is pretty low. And it felt fantastic. And it was the first time I'd really stopped and thought as I was walking through my park. So park over here, walk through that area. There's trees. I was in the shade and it felt really nice. And I was like, oh, this is what Hawaii felt like. For those of you who don't know, I lived in Hawaii for 3.5 years. I was stationed there in the Marine Corps. And I've gotten a lot of people tell me that when I say I was stationed in Hawaii, they go, oh, that must have been nice. And I say, nope, it's not. It's not a nice place to live. And I fully believed that then. As I've gotten a little older, I'm reconsidering that thought. This is what my walk. So I'm walking. It's 90 degrees, but in the shade it felt really good. And I started to think about how much my life has collapsed in the last 10 years, something like that, 8, 10 years, to a point where I could probably live in Hawaii and be comfortable right now. When I was in my 20s, my late teens, early 20s, it was miserable because, I lived on Oahu. Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii is on the leeward side of Hawaii. Yeah, on the leeward side of the island. So everything you could think about on Oahu, which is Waikiki Beach, Honolulu Beach, that's all on the windward side of the island. And so to get there, you're like a half hour, 35-minute drive across the island. There's the H1, which is the interstate. It's a 4-lane, goes up over the mountains. You just hop on that straight out the gates of the base. You hop on H1 and you're there, right? So like a half-hour drive, you're in all of those cool places. And so that's how small the island is. That's literally like across the entire island. It's a half an hour. So that's like, 20 miles or something like that. It's not a lot. So going there, living there in my early 20s, it felt very constricted. Like it's a tiny little island. My county, actually the county north of me, Mon County, is about the same landmass as that island. And so it felt like it, right? And it felt like here's this tiny place with like 1 million people or however many people live on the island. It's a lot. There's no place to get away. There's no place to like visit because once you've seen it, it's like living anywhere else. There are lots of places, if you came to visit me, I could take you to really beautiful places that I never visit because I've already been there a dozen times. I don't go there very often. I only go there to show it to other people because it's not special to me. Same thing about living in Hawaii. Once you've lived there, it's not special anymore. However, having now visited Mexico, the Dominican Republic, I can see Hawaii is special because it is tropical, but it's not miserable. Mexico and the Dominican Republic were miserable. Like just insanely hot, crazy high UV index, just terrible. But Hawaii is this really beautiful, comfortable place to live because it's hot, it's 90, but there's no humidity. The UV index is livable. Like you don't immediately die when you walk outside the door. You can walk around comfortably and, I walked a mile. My barracks were a mile from my workplace. And for the first year that I lived there, I walked to work in boots and camouflage pants, an undershirt, a t-shirt, my camouflage jacket thing, a hat, no problem. If I put on that gear here in the summer and walked, I would die. It would be so miserable. So Hawaii is a little bit special. And the only thing to do there, once you've lived there, if you want to escape the island, you can get on a boat, I suppose. Or you can fly back to the mainland U.S., which will cost you literally thousands of dollars. Like at that time, even, it was, I want to say it cost me $1,400 round trip in the 90s to fly from Hawaii to here, to West Virginia. That's crazy, right? To visit family, like, you're just stuck. And the part about living there that really sucked at that time was gas was wildly high. Gas was more expensive then in Hawaii than it is now here. Like it's crazy. The cost of living is outrageous. Minimum wage is still just minimum wage, but there is something to be said about just beautiful, nice, breezy, comfortable weather year round. And while I felt stuck as a 20-something, as a 40-something who basically my world exists within a maybe 15-mile radius of my house. Every once in a while, I'll go to a city to do something. But guess what? Those cities exist in Hawaii. You can go see concerts. You can go see, sporting events, whatever you want. Like that nightlife exists there, or that day, whatever. That life exists there. I think I could live there. I think that there is something to be said about comfortable living year-round. And it's not Florida. Trust me. Florida is... no. My parents went down there every winter. I could not stand it. I can't be there in the winter. It sucks in the winter. That's a place where it's always 100% humidity and always hot. That's gross. No. Hawaii, though, I've said for all of these years I would never live there again. But the more I think about it, I could live there. If I could afford it. That's the thing. If I had a job where I could afford to live there, I could live there. I could be comfortable there and not have to worry about never leaving. Because I don't really have big aspirations like I had as a 20-something, goals of driving cross country, visiting this place, visiting that place. That's all gone. I don't have that anymore. I'm much more comfortable just staying at home, reading books, playing video games, playing bass. I could do all of that there. I could do all that anywhere. And as I get deeper into playing music, I do kind of wish I lived closer to a metropolitan area that could support, or that I could have more opportunity to play music. There's not a lot of opportunity here. I'm very, very, very happy with the music that I am playing. I'm extremely happy with the music that I'm playing right now. But it would be cool to live in a place where there's more opportunity. Where I could, like I said yesterday, I could play a pickup gig. I know I could. I could do it. But there's no pickup gigs here. There's nobody looking for a bass player here. So it's not like I could go do a Friday night fill-in spot at the bar down the street or whatever. There's no bar down the street. There's nobody playing like that. So there is no opportunity for me to just interweave myself into the music scene. If there's going to be a music scene here, especially for the type of music we're playing, we're going to have to make it. Like there isn't a scene. We're going to make the scene. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, I think I could live in Hawaii. I think I have to change my stance on how I feel, or how I felt, or how I currently feel about living in Hawaii. I think I could do it. Weird. I mean, I've held that stance for a long time. I've told the story of living in Hawaii, and people have always said, oh, that must have been nice. And I say, no, it wasn't. It was terrible. But now that I think about it, it was only terrible because I was young and I had aspirations. Not that I don't have aspirations, but my aspirations are much more concise now. And they don't involve needing to be able to get in a car and drive cross country or something like that. I don't have those goals anymore. Very different goals now. Very different life now. And I'm much happier for it. Yeah. Okay, what do you think? Thoughts? Tell me about the weather where you're at right now. I set up my parents' cable box the other day, and the guy was in Minnesota and said that, like, north of Milwaukee, and he said they were having miserable heat wave too. That's pretty cool. Not cool. So tell me about where you're at. Thank you for watching. Please like the video. Doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe. That really does, and it helps. And it's been helping, and I've been super thankful for that. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing the videos. Please do that. I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 20 things to stop doing to others. Who? Stop being selfish. Number 9, stop being selfish. You get what you put into relationship. Nothing less, nothing more. Yeah, that's important. And it's a... Stop being the main character. Like, you're not the main character. You're the main character of your own story, but that doesn't mean you're the main character of the story.